These are your readings from the waist up, and I'm Megan Benanti. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. So let's take a look at our 3 charms for today. I feel like I want to dig around in here a little bit. So, okay. First charm is Isis with the Ankh, if that speaks to you. Second charm. Oh, okay. These are Spurs. So I know some people might think they're headphones, but they are Spurs. And our third charm is the elephant. The elephant he never forgets. And I know we had him last week, either here or on Instagram, but he's back, so that's okay. We'll just go with it. Despite the gazillion charms I have in here, there's probably a couple hundred. We end up with the same one sometimes. That's okay. So let's take a look at what we have today. I'm reading for the goddess first. For those of you that are feeling Isis energy, she's the maternal goddess in Egyptology. And she has the symbol for life, which is called an Ankh, above her, and her wings are spread. They are not her wings, they are like behind her. So they could be hers, or she could just be wearing wings. So, okay, let's see what we have for you. Okay, well, entering on a new path, interesting. So first off, you've got the Fool. And looking at this, there's just an overall sense of you're ready to dive in. And this is new energy. You need this right now. You're ready to kind of take a leap of faith, figure out what the next step is. And the energy, the universe is supporting you in this newness. So it needs you to decide what it is you want. You know, we think about the Fool, it's a 0, so it is before manifestation happens. When we get to 1, we manifest. We decide what we want in a 1. But in a 0, we're just trusting the universe that we'll land on our feet. So this is good for you right now. Love this energy and where you can go with that. Also, I just want to take note that her pet, her dog, instead of a small dog, is a wolf. And what seemed important about that is it's not just a companion, best friend kind of image. It's also like, I've got your back. I am your protector. And so I feel like you're supported in a way that is more than what we normally see in the Fool card. And so I think that's really good. Also, you've taken a lot of steps to get to where you are. And that's really important because, you know, there's a sense of what you have already accomplished. And it's like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing in my life. So things look good. Love this. Now, career, then you have a 1. We've got Ace of Cups. So, but this is a new beginning, or so this is a new beginning, but this is also about something that's passionate, you're passionate about, close to your heart. So, and again, this can be school or work, depending on whatever it is you do. And if you're stay at home, where do you spend most of your time? What's your emphasis there? You know, is it the gym? Is it a hobby? So where are you tapping in and excited about? You know, we have the goddess energy. So again, this is owning your power and your strength and not being afraid of that. And also feminine energy with that too, and owning that. So there is definitely a sense that you're being filled up, and there's a sense that the cup is half full rather than half empty. And I see other people maybe stepping back in their own way to allow you to lead, to do what you love doing here. You know, so don't resent them for giving you space to grow. But this is how I kind of, I'm seeing that, because there is a sense that they might just kind of be along for the ride and not be maybe helping out as much. That can be a really good thing. And that's how I'm perceiving it, is that they're letting you take charge. But at the same time, don't say, well, you didn't help me, you know? So just kind of remember the balance there. Now, your personal life is interesting. We have some contrast with that. We've got 6 of Wands in reverse. So you're looking at the challenge, and it's just a sense of not feeling like you're being recognized right now. And you've, again, we saw this in the Fool. You've climbed these stairs. You've accomplished a lot. And so there's a sense of wanting to do better, be acknowledged for all your efforts, especially in your personal life. You know, if it's taking care of the home, if it's things you do around the house, but also recognize that you're the person who can give you that. And don't feel like you have to wait on someone else to recognize it, because that's where the disappointment lies. We will always be disappointed with others not noticing how hard we've worked. So the sooner we just accept that and acknowledge ourselves, the less bitterness we have, and the more we can kind of let go and be good with things. So that's a positive. All right, moving into next week. And sorry, I did take my nails off, and I have been working with brown dye, so I have cleaned my nails very well, but they look terrible. Okay, next week, good times ahead. We've got Three of Cups. I like this energy for you. This is a very social card. It's being out with friends, having a good time, and yet nobody's present here. And so this is the acknowledgement for yourself. I see you embracing your life and the things that you're doing and just having fun with it and enjoying it. There's less pressure on yourself about things and really making the most of it. There's also things blooming and growing. And so you're moving into this next level of where you want to go with yourself. And this looks really good for this upcoming week. Oh, and it's going to be Thanksgiving. So you've got that energy of celebration and embracing, and maybe even drinking a little bit. That can come up too, but enjoying yourself and having fun with it, and just being that goddess that you naturally are, or however you experience that energy. So love this as you go into your holiday week. Okay. All right, headphones people, let's take a look at your reading. We'll see what we have for you. Ooh, powerful. Okay. Oh, interesting. You got a 6 in the same place as our Isis people. Okay, so been a good week. Queen of Wands energy. If you identify as female, this is going to be your own energy, rocking it out, being strong. Love this strength for you. So creative, dynamic, and also very much being an inspiration for others. And she has such a disciplined appearance to her here as well. There's a fierceness that's showing, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, not necessarily being fierce towards others, but being fierce in what you want to accomplish and do. So there's a lot of strength that is just emulating from her. And there's also some healing energy in this particular card that's coming forward. So I see you really owning your strength and your power. And I love this for you. And with the spur, you know, this is the idea of digging your heels in. And, you know, a spur was the last resort to get a horse moving. You know, most people don't use them now because it's pretty cruel, and yet they still are around. If you really saw those as headphones, then it is what are you listening to? What are the voices telling you in a very positive way or informative way? Okay, your career, Ace of Swords. So you two are also stepping into new power, which is really interesting because the last reading for Isis was kind of similar. Okay, so new ideas, a lot of strength and ability. I see you really cutting through kind of any BS at work or anything that's not helping you evolve. And also there's a sense of like, I'm getting this done because I'm going to be on vacation next week or at least part of the week. And so I really feel like you're cutting through what you need to. Now, if you're a student, there might also be a bit of an authority figure that you feel challenged by right now. There's just a sense that you think this person is somehow doing you wrong or isn't smart enough, or there's some kind of trigger in here. And I feel like you're trying to cut through that. And I honestly, that feels like a conflict rather than a strength for you. So this is a new beginning. And what I want you to honor with that is how can you learn to work with this person differently? You know, yes, it's a teacher. It's not your job. You're not stuck with them forever. You are stuck with them for this year or this semester. But that is also something that we have to acknowledge. It's part of life. We have to work with difficult people. So I challenge you to step up to the plate and see how you can navigate and work with this person differently. Find your words, speak your truth, but not out of resentment. And this might also be applying for, even someone else if you're in a work environment and this is coming into your work life. So just, there's definitely a sense of needing to find balance here, but also stepping into something new, and it's dynamic energy and you can go for this. There's a lot of electricity here, and I love this energy for work. I also feel like this is a time for you to level up in opportunity and having a sense of growth. So, good stuff. Okay, now personal life. Sorry, I have to look down when I read because I actually read the pictures. So it might seem tedious to you, like, why is she not looking at the camera? It is what it is. I look at art. All right. You've got Six of Cups coming up. I love this. This is your personal life. So presently all focused on family. If you have siblings, there's definitely some sibling focus here. This is such an amazing image for Six of Cups though, because you have the woman and she's in the reflections, or she's in the art or the photographs in the mirrors, picture frames. I'll get the words right eventually. Different ages of her in different stages of her life. And that's something we've got to honor in ourselves, of who we were at a certain time and how we're not that person anymore. We're not who we were yesterday, And so just honoring that and seeing where your growth is coming in. I really feel like there's good energy around family. I know there's been some tough stuff here before. I can see that it's lingering in the shadows a little bit, but there's a lot of bright light around what's happening in the present. And so really just kind of embrace that as you go into your holiday next week. Okay, and then our card to move forward into next week, we do have the moon, but she's in reverse. So typically the moon is absent of people. This one, we've got a very strong woman here. I want you to take a step back. Oh, and this is why you have the Spurs, because you want to dig your heels in. You don't want to deal with the unknown. You want to know what's going to happen next. And there is an honor with the moon that, hey, you're not going to be able to prepare for your future right now. Not to the extent that you want to, because there can be some surprises on the way. And some of those things like mysteries and unknown things, we think we want to know them, but sometimes it's good not to know. And that can really be a blessing. So as you move into next week, just be open to the experience of what's going to come up, because I feel like this is going to take you down a road eventually that will make more sense later, but it's not necessarily going to make sense right now. And there is going to be expansion or visibility that comes up, just not immediately. You might catch some glimpses of it, so those might be things to kind of just pay attention to next week and see what looks like it might play out or unfold in the future. So that could be people that you meet, that could be dynamics of relationships. You've got Thanksgiving, and then we have the Christmas holiday. So there's things that can trigger around that, sometimes we see the start at Thanksgiving and it finishes at Christmas. So just kind of be aware, see what shows up and reveals itself. Just don't jump to conclusions yet. Take your time. Part of lunar energy is allowing things to evolve and play out on their own. Don't feel like you need to rush into it. And again, with the Spurs, don't dig your heels in. Don't push this. Allow it to happen naturally. And I know that you're going to know exactly what that means for you. Take your time with it and enjoy the ride or enjoy the journey versus just wanting to know what the outcome is. All right. So that was it for the Spurs. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will read for the elephant people. Okay, elephant people, we are ready for you. Thank you for tuning in for the last one. Oh, okay. Got a sudden sense to move. Oh, okay. Well, here's the challenging reading. So you literally have everything upside down, which sometimes is okay, but in this case, we've got all the challenges, although my first card is to a lesser degree. So we've got Three of Swords. She is in reverse. And with the elephant, I'm thinking of the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about. And it's big. You can't miss it. You can't not smell it, but nobody's discussing it. So you're definitely having that feeling that something's happening and you can't talk about it, or nobody's talking about it. Three of Swords, this is always a card of conflict. Sometimes it can involve three people. That can be significant in there. There's also a sense, though, for me, it is to a lesser degree in reverse, but I still feel like you're feeling a lot of challenge and you don't know how to transform from this situation or this negative feeling into feeling better again. You know, if there was a conflict with friends, or it could be family, but I definitely feel like there could be a friendship situation in there, or a closeness, and maybe there's an outsider that's involved in that. And they came in, almost feels like aggressively, things happened aggressively. And there's definitely like you need to heal. There's some feeling of toxic energy in here, but I think like you don't know what to do. And if you've lost someone you love and to someone else, like they're dating someone else now, this wasn't the person you were supposed to marry. And I know that sometimes we set our intentions, you know, I think to fall in love, we have to have a level of belief that this will be my person. You know, we have to be able to give of ourselves. To fall in love takes risk, and you got to be able to willing to dive on in. And that's a great thing. That is the beauty of who we are. But whenever the breakups come, they really hurt because we don't necessarily always see it coming. Allow yourself the grief, but try not to linger in vengeance. And I know you don't want to forgive this person yet. And that's part of the elephant, you know, never forgetting. But I want you to know that you internalizing this is hurting you. So figure out a way to get it out of your system. Hit the pillow, go for a walk, chop some wood, you know, whatever works for you. I find physical activity to be really helpful. I just want you to get this out of your system and to be the sword that pulls out of this situation, you know? Okay, so your career, which could be work or school or even stay at home. We've got Queen of Cups in reverse. Just, you know, the sense the heart is broken and not being emotionally stable right now, definitely feeling distracted. If you identify as male, this might be a female that you're dealing with, that she's withholding this emotional connection from you. If you identify as female, though, this is you. And you're underwater, you know, it's just like consuming you right now. So what you're hanging on to is the dream of how you saw yourself. And allow that dream to just be a dream. Wake up. Step into the energy of who you actually are. When I'm looking at this, this is the dream up here, and you're identifying with the loss of that dream, but you're actually the human beneath it. So, you know, you will have more dreams to come. This is okay, and grief is okay. But how we decide to release the grief can be good for us or negative for us. And this is where you need to find some skill sets on how you're going to release that grief. Okay, personal life, you've got Judgment in reverse. And you can't figure this out. That's okay. You don't have an answer. There's a sense of no right or wrong to this. It's difficult. Again, with the Phoenix, like you don't know how to transform. You don't know how to heal. What I want you to know is there's not a magic button. You're not broken. It will happen over time. Things take time. And sometimes when we're really in love and we break up, it can take a year or two or more. It's okay and to move forward or to try things, do things, have other experiences. Be creative. That's a wonderful way to heal yourself. You might also look into a self-help book. They're wonderful resources. Um, if you're young, the universe has your back, or you're just starting out into self-help books kind of thing. The universe has your back is spirituality and self-help. That's Gabrielle Bernstein. It's a good read. She does a good job, but it's also very user-friendly. It's not real heavy. You don't have to know anything before you read that book. So that's kind of a good starting point. And just looking at this, there's a couple of clocks. Give yourself grace. Also, find someone to talk to. You know, your friends might not want to hear it if it's repetitive. That doesn't mean they're bad. It's a lot. When we lose someone, our energy is pouring out of us. And we're kind of toxic with negativity. And so our friends want to support us, but if we're giving them the same story over and over and we're not making change, they get tired and they need to recharge and reboot. And it's like, hey, are you going to be here for me too? You know? So, you know, if your friends are pulling away, it doesn't mean they don't love you anymore. And it doesn't mean that you have to isolate, but it might be time to get a professional, someone that can help you work through this, or a parent. You know, that can also be supportive. Sometimes our parents love us. They want to support us. That's what they're there for. And I know as a parent, like, I want my kids to be able to talk to me about anything that goes on in their life. I will support them through it, and I will counsel them if they want my counsel. But usually they just want me to listen and not respond. And that's okay too. Okay, so moving into next week for you. Page of Pentacles, she is in reverse. So there is a sense of like being a little resistant to wanting to learn new things. And you're going into the holiday week of Thanksgiving. Oh, and she's even got on fall colors here, which I kind of love, with her leaves are all changed on her hair. You know, you might not really want to hear it from anybody, and you might not also be ready to dive into any self-help, and that's okay. But just know it's a longer healing process if we don't help ourselves than if we do. Eventually, everything fades, everything gets easier. The people that we love, you know, whether we lose them in a breakup or they die or they choose someone else, it all does fade. I've had a lot of loss, whether they were lovers or friends or people that died. I've had a lot of death. You come out the other side eventually, and it does take time. But I will say, you know, for me, the therapy that I did really made a difference on my understanding of myself and how I saw the world. And that made a tremendous amount of difference. So consider it. I'm looking at this for you. I feel like you don't know who to trust or what to step into. And there's just a general resistance of like, yeah, they can't help me. But you really don't know if you don't try. And even if you don't have the money to go to a regular therapist, maybe there's a counselor through a school, an organization. See what's available to you. You don't have to be stuck in a position that feels horrible. And there's also, you know, if you end up feeling like you might be, you know, super depressed or feeling kind of suicidal, use an 800 number. There's lots of hotlines for that. Nobody wants you to suffer. And honestly, no one's worth dying for. Like, your life as a soul on this planet is so incredibly precious. And your whole purpose really is to understand this moment and the difficulty of this challenge and this grief. But it doesn't mean if you end yourself because of that, you're taking away all the opportunity that your soul wanted to learn in this life. And so give yourself room to have a life, to understand the pain and then move forward from it. Okay? I know that got a little heavy on the end, but it did feel like something I needed to say. Please let me know if it resonated with you or helped you out. And okay, so that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will hope to see you again next week. Take care.